Okay, guys, welcome back. Or if this is your first time here, welcome. So, I think this is my third video. My first two was a little bit out of order, but it's fine. I don't care, at least. But so, how are we gonna start this? So, I was going through my list of things to talk about, and I realized that I have a lot of negative things, more negative things than positive things about Japan. And it's not, and I want to say it. I'm not trying to dig. I guess I kind of am. But I don't want to start off and make people think that this is just gonna be me just talking trash about Japan. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm here to just, talk about my experience and stuff. And also, at the end of the day, a lot of negative things does attract. But I don't want to be dishonest. Like, Japan is this most horrible country in the world. Trust me, if I was talking about negative things in my home country in America, then I could write volumes and volumes and volumes of things, of problems. So, but this is not about the US, this is about Japan, because a lot of people want to know, the reality of Japan. And a lot of the stuff you see on YouTube and stuff is a whole bunch of, PR and why it's, this perfect place. And I do agree that it's a perfect place to visit, like most people say. I don't agree that it's the perfect place to live. Even if you're talking about something like the U.S., where, it has a whole bunch of violence and a lot of corruption, a lot of greed, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I still think Japan is very flawed. But we're not going to even talk about that right now. I want to talk about, something a little bit more positive. A good thing about Japan, which is its healthcare system. Shoot. And let's just start off by saying is that Japan's healthcare is pretty good. Now, mind you, I come from America, the U.S., where there is no universal health care. It's not cheap. It's definitely not free. There's a lot of corruption in the within the healthcare corporations, the companies. I'm talking about in America, in which they, pay out politicians, to keep them from, giving us universal health care, so on and so forth. And all we really got is Obamacare, in which, if you do your research, it ended up being not a benefactor, but actually a detriment to a lot of people who had pretty good health care. And then because of some technicality, their good health care had been terminated for the trashier Obamacare and so on and so forth. But again, we're not here to talk about America. We're here to talk about Japan. And I'm here to say that Japan's healthcare is pretty good. Well, let me start out by saying this. It's not like places like Germany and other countries. I believe a lot of them are in Europe, where healthcare is completely free, but it is definitely affordable. I could definitely contest that it's affordable. how does it work? And how I'm gonna go about this is basically through my experience and me first coming into Japan. Uh, Me first coming into Japan, and getting a residency visa. For me, I guess it would be my spouse visa. How it basically works is you have to go to the city hall of your residence, either city hall or a ward. Where I was living at before in Kawasaki, I believe I went to a ward, which is still kind of like a city hall. Some stuff, it's a little complicated. But you go to the ward. I believe upon getting your spouse visa and along with the marriage stuff and so on and so forth, you're offered basically healthcare. You do have to pay the government, but it's typically start out very cheap because more than likely you won't have a job, or maybe you will come in with a job, but because even if you do have a job, because you don't have any tax statement, any tax filed, they don't really know where to base how much they should charge you or not. So it's usually going to start out very cheap. So like I said, whether you have a job or not, your first year, the amount you pay is going to be very cheap. They're going to give you a card, and that's basically how it works. Now, of course, throughout all the paperwork trying to get your residence cards and so on and so forth, it's going to be it's going to be a process. But along all that process, getting your health insurance is you're not even going to really be thinking about it. It's just going to come to you as you get yourself settled in with your residence cards and so on and so forth, and either your spouse visa or your work visa or so on and so forth. Now, as I said, you get your card, how it works. And like I said, I'm basing this off my experience in America. To be more specific, New York City. Basically, you're not bounded to just certain clinics. I know in America, like depending on your healthcare insurance, you're bounded by, you might or might not be bounded by certain clinics, doctors that you could go to or you cannot go to. And I do think that really depends on which one you choose. In America, when I was in my company and my cable company, when I was working in Optimum, or rather, I guess the branch at the time would be Cablevision. Now it's Altice, and I'm not gonna even talk about that. But you was able to choose between several different types of insurance, and one was more flexible than the other, in which what doctor you could choose to go to or not. But in Japan, it doesn't work like that. In Japan, you're basically gonna have this health insurance card, and you could just go to any doctor you want to. And it's not really a big process. When you go to the doctor for the first time, you have to fill out a form, and then after that, you're just good to go. The only difficult part about it is that most of the time it's in Japanese, so you might need some help. But other than that, you're free to go to any doctor wherever you want, and that's just how it is. Now, once you go to the doctor, you get yourself checked out. There's going to be a payment. Now, I guess this is a good time to basically introduce how I basically explain like the currency, at least between America and Japan. Now, how I go by is because I understand that there's going to be a difference in value. Especially the Japanese yen is just going down, just struggling. It went up a bit at one point, and some people thought that this was gonna be it's up and up again, but nope, it just went back. So, but basically, because I want you guys to relate to me, and now that I'm working in Japan and receiving Japanese yen, I'm not thinking about the US dollar anymore. So I'm not thinking about that value. So how I want to talk about it is I want to speak as if it's an equal value. And I'm going to be doing this for the remaining of my videos. Any videos in the future, and I'm going to repeat this over again, but for the future, I'm going to be pretending that the yen and the dollar is going to be equal. And for those who don't know, let me explain how basically the yen is going to work if it was an equal value. Basically, you have 1 yen, and think of that as 1 cent. 10 yen, basically a dime, 10 cents. So that means that 100 yen is going to be $1. Okay? So, if I start talking, let's say, well, I'm sorry because I always translate the Japanese when I speak about yen. Let's say I talk about 10,000 yen. That's going to be $100. Okay? So, now going back to the healthcare part. So most of the time when I go to the doctor, the bill isn't no more than 20,000 yen, and that's about $20. Now, and that's basically almost no matter what. No, actually, let's say 20,000. I'm basing this off of my last dentist appointment, which was about that. But it's almost, yeah, I'm gonna say it's about that much. Now I know there are some healthcare in America that has a lot more cheaper co-payment, but 20 is still pretty good. When I was back in my cable company in America, I found myself paying a whole lot more, especially when I had to go to specialist clinics. I had end up having to pay me like $50 or something like that. Probably even more. It's probably even a lot more right now. But before I left, I was paying like $50 if it was some kind of specialist I had to go to. But for me, no matter where I went, whether it's a normal clinic or a specialist, I really only had to pay that much. Whether it was the doctor or the dentist or some other different type of doctor, and it seemed to be that around that flat fee. Now let me say, some things, like for example the dentist, are not covered, like root canals and crowns, and also of course like replacement teeth, because I guess that's not really a health issue, that's more cosmetic. So those are not really covered, or not as much covered, so you're going to pay more out of pocket for those. And that's honestly the same in the US. But I will say this, I've had crowns and root canals both in America and Japan, and I want to say that Japan is a lot more cheaper. So that's a good thing about that. Anything else I want to note? Healthcare. Anything else I want to know about healthcare? Oh, I remember. I want to say. So, for most of my time in Japan, even when I had a job, because I've been in 3 different jobs already. One is cleaning, hotel cleaning job. The second was in construction, and then now I'm currently working in Eikaiwa, which is basically a English conversation school, like a after school English teaching school. And we'll talk about those in other videos. But when I was working in the hotel cleaning, because it was part-time-ish, I guess I wasn't expecting to get their healthcare, if they even offer healthcare, even as a full-time. When I was working in construction, their company wasn't offering healthcare, or at least help with healthcare. And then in the Eikaiwa, for I want to say half of the time I've been there, they wasn't helping or covering for healthcare. But after 2022 or 21, it was either October 2021 or October 2022, there was a law in place, which was already there from what I heard, but it built up to affect my company, in which my Eikaiwa school basically had to help out with healthcare. So basically they're assisting, I believe they're assisting paying with healthcare, and also I forgot what you call it, insurance, pension. They're helping with the pension, because before they wasn't helping with that. Basically we had to basically pay. We didn't we fully paid out of our own pocket, but also on top of that, like, it didn't come out of our paycheck. We had to pay the city hall every month, and the process of paying things through city hall and all that, I'll talk about that later. That's a whole new video of me ranting about inconvenience in Japan. But after this law passed and it hit October, basically health insurance gets, the tab of health insurance basically gets taken out of my paycheck, which is a convenience. So there's nothing really to complain about that. And I believe I want to say that the company has to cover for some of it or half of it. I know they do the pension, but I have to recheck on if they help out with health insurance too, other than making it easy to pay, that it comes out of my paycheck instead of me having to go to the inconvenience and pay for it. But I think that's how it works now. So we're gonna end it right there. So yeah, this is a positive thing about Japan, the healthcare, especially now that the law is in place, where even where companies, whether you're full-time or contractual, because I'm contractual, I'm bound by a contract, meaning that I don't have a safe space in my company. They could choose to not want me the next year if they so choose. But despite that fact, they still have to in some way assist with the healthcare. So we're gonna end it at that. I hope this was enlightening for some of you. I do have more topics to come, so if you're interested, stay tuned. If you're interested in what I said, like and subscribe. You see me, I'm always wearing a hoodie. We're trying to build up the hoodie gang. I'll tell you how that came to be in another video as well. But I have to hold the carry on the string. Gotta pull you guys in. I need more coming. I need more people. Come on, guys, help me out. All right, all jokes aside. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Peace.